Hey, thank you for joining me for another video. Let's play a game. Name the stuff behind me. Just kidding. We're going to do a knife modification today. This is my old Namora Companion. This is the newer, more robust. I'm going to take it and I'm going to grind the spine down to 90 degrees. We'll explain why, and yeah, let's roll that intro and get to it. Doing a quick modification here. It's just going to be a real short video. Something that I do with all of the knives I get, especially like these Moras, they come with a very rounded spine, which makes striking a fire steel almost impossible. They just don't grab the material and throw it like a knife with a spine, what's called a 90-degree spine. So I've had this one for a while. I've already touched up the edge, as you might be able to see here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but you can see the grind marks on there for me, giving it that grippy 90-degree spine. Where'd that ferro rod go? Let me show you why. So this one will just grab and it'll throw sparks, just chunks of sparks now. Whereas the new one I've got, this is the little bit shorter bladed, more robust. I believe it's got, it's thicker steel, it's shorter, it's stouter, but the thing I don't like about this is you cannot throw sparks with it. I mean, it's got a very round spine. In fact, let me pull you in here. This spine is just terrible. I mean, it's awful. Let's see if we can get this thing to focus. Can you see that? It's like the spine is dug out in the center here, and then it's almost polished along that edge, so it cannot grab and throw sparks for beans. So these are both carbon steel blades. That's my preference. So what we're gonna do here, is I am going to do the same thing to this one as that one. Now you can do this a number of different ways. I choose to do this with a metal file. I've got a good, strong, big, thick metal file here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the blade, just the blade, not the handle, in the vise, and you don't need it far, and you don't need to do the whole length of the blade. In fact, you just need to do a small portion of it. So I'm just gonna take long, even strokes across the back of the steel here. You don't want to pull your file back the other way because this is carbon steel, same steel as what's in here in the file. This has been hardened, it has not been tempered. This has been tempered slightly, so this is just slightly softer, but even so it will ruin your file. So don't be pulling back on that, just straightforward. Just get a few strokes like this. Well, it's going to take more than a few, but you can hear it. That sound, it's biting into the steel. Now, when you do this kind of thing, it creates a burr, which is what I want. So I'm going to flip this blade around in a minute and embrace that, because I want that burr. Just tightening down the vise. I want that burr, because that burr is what makes these other strikers so successful. If you can see this on this end over here, it's got a slight lip to it. Let me see if we can get you see that right along here? It's got a slight lip to it. Now, I would use one of these in combination with a softer rod, but it will grab and throw sparks real well, but it will also grab and throw skin, because it's done that all the way. They've done that all the way along the edge here too, so it's pretty sharp. Now that's what you call a burr. That's what you don't want when you want a sharp blade, but it is what I want here, because that's what's going to throw my sparks. So if I can get that along one of these edges, preferably this edge along here, when I strike and grind that across the metal, the cerium being softer than the steel is going to be, anyway. Don't need to explain that, but that burr along that edge is going to carve into here and grab a fine feather of steel and help fling it out there. especially want it right here next to the handle, because the closer you strike to your hand, the less twist it's going to have on your wrist. If you can't tell, I got bored. I got tired of the metal file. I want to clean up just right here by the handle. Oh, that's good and sharp right along there. Even up there. All right, let's test it out. Now I'm gonna have to do some correcting because I hit my tip a little bit. Oh, it's not that bad. Oh, it's not bad at all. There's still a bit of a drop to it. So, all right. Love this thing. Okay, so that's still not very sharp. But let's see how it does now. Just with an easy strike here. Don't mind the finger. That's what I want. Those little curls of metal to come off of there and heat up, melt, ignite like that. So now that we got that true and it's just sharp as can be along there, let me show you another reason why I like to have that 90-degree spine on there. Let's head over to a little stump I've got and we'll explain it there. Alright, let me show you here. I'm in my garage because it's pretty cold out right now, but I want to show you one other reason why I like to have that sharp spine on here. A lot of times, very often when you're watching, outdoor channels, you'll see someone who is particularly good at making what's called a feather stick or curls, where they just take a piece of wood and they shave down an edge like this and create these beautiful feathers. And you see, I can't really do it. I don't practice this because I've never really found that I need it. It's nice to create these tiny little curls of wood that take a spark just really easily. Is that gonna focus on there? Anyway, you get the idea. But they will make just perfect curls. And it doesn't seem to matter how much I try to do this. Mine just end up a mess. Actually, just give it a go here. See, it doesn't seem to matter how much I try this. I just can't get it. And I can't stand making them because you always smack your knuckles into the whatever, like the wood or the stump or whatever. You don't want to put a rock down here because you come down like this and pop, your blade goes right into that stump, and there goes your fine edge, or into the rock, and you end up with a dull blade. I mean, these are good for helping. I've made these things a lot, but I'm just not very good at making them, and it just seems tedious to me. If I gather small enough kindling, then I don't need to make this stuff, and it's just time consuming to make enough of them to make a difference when you can just grab smaller pieces of wood that fulfill the same purpose. So having a 90-degree spine, if you've got a piece of heartwood or fatwood, which is not hard to find, it's in almost every crook in a pine tree where that pine tree stands up and a branch comes off, and where that branch meets the trunk here, you're gonna find this heartwood, this sapwood. Another useful reason to have a sharp spine on your knife is because you can take it and you can scrape your wood like this, and you see what's happening is I'm creating a lot of these wispy, even finer bits of wood, and that takes a spark, and I'll show you here. That takes a spark. Oh, and that smells so good. I love the smell of pine. But that stuff, that'll take a spark just as well as any of these feather sticks. You just get a little pile, and it doesn't take long. You don't even have to be good at anything. You just scrape, you know? You don't have to practice making them. It just takes a few seconds, and you got a pile of this extra fine stuff. And this will take a spark like nobody's business. Let me show you here. So you do that, and you can get a decent sized pile in a matter of, you do that for 1 minute, and you've got yourself a really good pile of very fine. Just don't sneeze, because anyway. So you get that going, and you put your knife your ferro rod right down into it, and I tend to hold mine like this rather than like a pencil or whatever, but
just do a quick spark, and that goes up just easy as can be. So these feather sticks, while useful, they burn very well, but they take practice, they're time consuming, and it's just, to me, a pain in the butt to make them. So if I make them, I'll do them, you know, really quick, and just, you know, I'll make them, just do a real quick job of it, and it's really not even necessary. You just make a pile of these shavings. Look, I'll even do it again to show you the skill.
I don't even have any good skills.
Look at that. Just scrape, 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 scrape. Just like that, in a matter of seconds, you got a pile large enough, especially if it's fat wood. Sapwood, fatwood, heartwood, it's all the same stuff. There you go. You get a bunch of that sapwood, and we're gonna go and do this next trip. I think we're gonna do tomahawk handle and sapwood. But you get some of these little wispy things in there, and real quick. Anyway, so yeah, they go up really easily, and they'll burn long enough to catch a smaller twig on fire like that. And you get your twigs, put them over there, have them right ready, and yeah, easy as that. Shouldn't let this burn, because I'm in the garage and smoke goes in the house, wife will come out. So anyway, there you go. So it's a good idea to keep that spine to 90, a nice sharp 90-degree angle, for two reasons: to strike your fire steel, and to scrape wood. And there you go. That's my short video for today. Thank you so much for joining me again. I hope this was helpful to someone. If so, give me a like and a subscribe, and we will see you boys on the next adventure. And girls, dogs, cats, barn animals, whatever is watching.